Цаанаасаа хувь тайлна гэж боддог шүү дээ.
5-6 настайгаас л харандаа барьж гисэн.
Тэр өрөөнд ороход тэр бутагны үнэр амар гоё сэтгэл төрүүлдэг.
Энэ урлангаас л хамгийн гарч байгаа юм чи.
Сэтгэлдээ эхлээд ургаад урдаг. Би зүгээр л Монгол төрснөөр амар бахархдаг байхгүй.
Монголынхаа энэ онцлогийг уран бүтээлдээ тусахыг илүү ирэмцэж бүтээлээ туурдаг.
Уран бүтээлч хүн чинь дуусчихгүй ундраг байх хэвээр.
Монголын уран зургийн төвшин бол
Хурцтай өгж байгаа л гэж бодож байгаа л да. Хамгийн том нэг зорилго бол
Монголын дүрслэх урлагийг дэлхийн тавцанд гаргаж ирэх л туйлын хүсэл байгаа.
My name is Tulhun. In 2005, I graduated as a design artist from clothing design class of the University of Arts. Now I work as a freelance artist. My paintings generally follow the contemporary modern approach. Who am I? This work is called Who Am I? In today's life, people in the contemporary world have to wear different masks. I feel I cannot blame them. Life is hard. Sometimes after wearing so many masks, they eventually forget their own face. The person in the painting has tried to conceal his mask, and yet the mask is visible to us. Because the person in the painting is unaware that his mask is revealed to us, he asks, "Who am I? Guess who I am?" But I know he has the mask on, and I see his deception. I don't know. On this painting called I Don't Know, I depicted 3 eyes. The idea behind this painting is that we feel much more than we appear to feel, and we see many more things than we seem to see, and yet we are unable to express all that we feel and see. Our mouths are covered. This painting was displayed at my independent exhibition, organized at the Art Museum of Zanzibar in 2013. It shows the rounded shape of a Mongolian yurt, representing the idea of a never-ending eternal circle. In the center of its composition, you can see the upper frame of the yurt, painted using a mixed technique. There are also some people displayed in the painting. This work reflects the idea of people's anticipation, which is not an anticipation of something coming from the outside, but an anticipation of something from within themselves. Continuation. This painting is called Continuation. I and everyone else around me is the succession of someone else. In the same way, I and everyone else is the beginning of someone else. The sleeves in the painting are long, representing the idea that everyone is connected in some way. Balance. This is my painting called The Balance. In this painting, I expressed that usually when people measure something material, they use scales and balances to weigh it. For instance, we calculate weight by placing an item on one side of the scales and balancing with the weight on the other side. In my mind, some things that cannot be measured, are often related to the human soul and mind. Sometimes objects of the same size are equal, but in other instances it's a completely different story. Big and small things can match in equal weight. Mother. This painting is called Mother. It is a composite of 3 series of paintings. I called this work Mother because she is the closest and dearest thing to any human being. A nest with some eggs is displayed on a small part of the painting. The painting, and the name of the painting itself, Mother, represents a beginning, a continuation, and an extension of humans and animals. Him. This painting called Him isn't a portrait of someone I saw or any real person. Him is simply a portrait of a man, someone I invented and conceived in my own mind. In general, the character I imagined is male and resembles a Mongolian man or some ancient hero from past times. His outfit is modern, however. My Queen. This is a painting called My Queen. In my opinion, people usually imagine that a queen is a person surrounded by perfect happiness at all times. Though the ruling queen may look like the epitome of joy, the most perfect person, she is unable to live in her own way, and so she can be the unhappiest one. I created this painting because I had the impression and feeling that she is akin to an animal, or even like someone's pet. Somewhere. This is my work called Somewhere. I painted it in 2014 as one of the works that I created for my independent exhibition organized in Taeyon City in South Korea. We beautify ourselves with nice things, dress up in fancy clothes and heirlooms, or some other material things. But why can't we decorate ourselves with something non-material, or surround ourselves with other people? This is the question that I ask in this painting. Dream. This work of mine is dream. It's my dream. Other words to express it could be fantasy, vision, or mirage. It expresses something hidden among the clouds, something abstract, something you cannot express into words, yet something existing inside the human soul itself. Face. This work was created using a mixed technique. On this painting, it's shown that every human being wears a mask. They do it due to different reasons, some because they want to, and others because they are forced to put it on. It's difficult to blame them. Perhaps even myself am the same, as a human being wearing my own mask. That's Also. This work, called That's Also, displays the idea that a human being, for many reasons, cannot act as itself. This is shown by 2 closed sleeves attached to each other, twined hair, and a shut mouth. He isn't able to say what he wants. I'm walking. This work is called I'm Walking. The person depicted in this painting has the image and form of a human being and an animal at the same time. It's said that we humans have mind and intellect, and that we are the perfect ones. However, in some ways, in flesh, we are actually very similar to animals. The person in the painting thinks that he's moving, yet in reality he is sitting, motionless, but he doesn't realize it.
Цаанасаа хувь тайлна гэж боддог шүү дээ.
5-6 настайгаас л харандаа барьж гисэн.
Тэр өрөөнд ороход тэр бутагны үнэр амар гоё сэтгэл төрүүлдэг.
Энэ урлангаас л хамгийн гарч байгаа юм чи.
Сэтгэлдээ эхлээд ургаа зурдаг. Би зүгээр л Монгол төрснөөр амар бахархдаг байхгүй.
Монголынхаа энэ онцлогийг уран бүтээлдээ тусахыг илүү ирэмцэж бүтээлээ туурдаг.
Уран бүтээлч хүн чинь дуусчихгүй ундраг байх хэвээр.
Монголын уран зургийн төвшин бол
Хурцтай өгж байгаа л гэж бодож байгаа л да.
Хамгийн том нэг зорилго бол
Монголын төрслөх урлагийг дэлхийн тавцанд гаргаж ирэх л туйлын хүсэл байгаа.
Намайг үлсэж авах.
My name is Үлсэж Авахлан. I studied in and graduated from the University of Fine Arts from 2000 to 2004. I'm married. My husband is an artist and a painter as well. We have one child. My main occupation is painter. In my works, I reflect everything that I know well, in particular Mongolian national culture and traditions. Stepping on Heavens, Reaching the Earth. Here's my painting called Stepping on Heavens, Reaching the Earth. For this work of mine, I chose the character of a Buddhist priest standing alone in a great space, in the midst of nature. Nowadays, everything is constantly moving and evolving and changing. A person should be close to nature, protecting the environment of the earth. A man should reach inside his own soul. Peace is something humankind needs. This painting was created summing up all of those ideas. The Great Peacefulness of Mongolia. This is a painting called The Great Peacefulness of Mongolia. Mongolia is a country with a vast Gobi desert and a wild wilderness. Here I depicted a female camel with twin colts. A female camel bears young once in 2 years, and it rarely gives birth to twin colts. When a camel gives birth to twin colts, Mongolians take it as a good omen and celebrate. I also depicted an old, grey-haired mother. The reason for that is that Mongolians greatly respect and love their elderly. That's why I painted a mother gazing into the distance, perhaps waiting for her child to come back. My name is Gambolt Dorsterum. I was born in 1982. From my childhood, my hobbies included sculpting and drawing pictures. My grandfather was a very famous Mongolian artist. His name was Minjur Che. He created the first Mongolian banknote with a silver mark in 1966. His Mongolian-style paintings and famous images of gods and deities are kept in the Fine Art Gallery. I have set many objectives for myself. One of them is to perpetuate my own name as a great artist and leave a heritage in the world. This is a painting called Composition with Sheep. I first sketched this painting when I saw some goats and sheep together, and later I created this painting. This painting is one of my most favorite works. The sheep on the painting bleat, looking as if they were singing. I think that the color of this painting is quite musical. I consider this painting a good quality work, which accurately represents me as an artist. This is a painting called Sunny Rain. The main idea of this painting is to show the inner soul of a woman, her joy and sadness, her excitement. I aimed to paint a Mongolian woman with her ornaments and adornments and to show her movements in this painting. This is a painting called After Celebration. It's an interesting painting. I created this work thinking of a slightly drunk Mongolian man mounted on his horse, galloping through the steppe and humming a song. He senses his freedom. He is merged with nature, and he feels great happiness. This painting of mine is called A Very Hot Day. I found inspiration from this painting because most summers I don't stay in the city, but go out to countryside for field training. At field training, I mostly study, paint with natural colors, and picture countryside life. I also like to visit different countryside households. I did a lot of research for this painting. It took quite a long time to work on the preparation of this painting. However, I painted it easily in a short time. It's also one of my personal favorites. This painting of mine is called The Clatter. Mongolian people exalt their horses. The horses here are depicted as if galloping, bolting, or flying up to the sky. Their movements look as if you're looking at them from above. As for the color of the painting, the background is red, and the horses are black and white. The color of the horses contrasts nicely with the background. In this painting called Mirage, I painted a mirage in the Gobi Desert, a household and Gobi Desert colors, and a camel. I painted the joined and disjoined shapes of the camels by merging different images together. My name is Mungtsol Bondra. I'm 30 years old. In 2012, I graduated from the University of Fine Arts as a Mongolian painting technique artist. Mongolian-style painting techniques are quite interesting because they use quite detailed techniques on a flat surface. This technique is called the ALTAN KHAAN technique. Recently, I have generally tended to paint portraits. I use watercolor techniques to paint. In my opinion, compared to other techniques of painting, watercolors are a more complicated technique which require more detailed work. I like using watercolors because human emotions are better conveyed using this technique. Most of my works are done in watercolors. God's Conversation. My painting called God's Conversation is generally painted using a Mongolian painting technique. When I created this painting, I tried, in a simple way, to convey the inner world of gods, who are taking note of all the good deeds and the sins of humankind. Delicious food. As I've said before, this work of mine called Delicious Food is a portrait of one person done in watercolors. I tried to reflect the emotions and state of mind in that moment. The child is very cute and innocent and isn't ashamed of anyone. You can see it from the child's eyes and from the saliva leaking from the child's mouth. The main reason I called the painting Delicious Food is because it shows the relationship between mother and child. It is obvious that a mother will pour out her whole heart in making a meal for her child. And when the child eats the food his mother made, it tastes delicious to him. It shows that the child's heart is full as well. His cheeks are reddish after eating a meal. This is what I tried to demonstrate with the facial expression of the child. Horse Child. This work called Horse Child is done in watercolors. It depicts one of the three sports of the Mongolian man, horse racing. It demonstrates the idea that children from a young age take part in those races. As for this child, he was horse racing and fell off his horse, and now he is frustrated because he scratched the skin on his leg. I painted this child in watercolors, trying to show his facial expression of anger and frustration. My name is Bazarani Sambo. I was born in 1982 in Ulyasta City, Zahung Province. My main occupation is painting. I sincerely love the fine arts. I've given my whole heart to them. Recently, I've mainly painted horses. The reason is that in my childhood I tamed foals and young horses, and I was a child horse racer. I mainly paint on canvas with oil paint. My paintings have a modern design and are created in the modernist trend. This work of mine, called At the Hitching Post 1, is 100 centimeters by 100 centimeters in size. The work was done in oil paint on a canvas. It has a rectangular format and modern design. As for the imagery, it is very realistic. On this painting, I depicted some horses standing at the hitching post under sun on a hot day. This work of mine, also called At the Hitching Post, number 2, was painted in 2012. The color scheme is generally cold, bluish colors. The image is realistic. The size of the painting is 90 centimeters by 180 centimeters. I depicted some horses standing at the hitching post after rainfall at twilight, at the very moment of nightfall. Khaan's horses. I created this painting called Khaan's Horses with modern trend, a modern design, and a realistic image. In this painting, I refused to paint with realistic colors and used black and white instead. The intention for this painting is to display a king's flock of horses. The Clatter. This painting is called The Clatter and is 130 centimeters by 180 centimeters in size. The color scheme is generally pink with a foggy, unclear design. It's very abstract. I didn't paint with brushes or a palette knife. I used a different technique. The painting is realistic with a modern design. This painting depicts fierce, fiery, and fervent horses. This work of mine is called The Clatter 3 and is 100 centimeters by 300 centimeters in size. This painting was done in oil paints. I depicted the greatest qualities of horses, such as a great energy, a fierceness, something that makes you very proud. It showcases the very unique movements of a horse. If you observe the image, you will see that they move around very energetically. My work, The Sound of Horses' Hooves, has a modern style. There is an embedment at the header and footer of the painting. As for the technique, I used a palette knife to paint it. Its size is 60 centimeters by 90 centimeters and is done in oil colors. For the painting called The Noise of the Herd, I got this idea when I was traveling in Butlung province with a friend of mine. And I saw several hundred horses standing at the very edge of a small lake. Since then, I've thought a lot, made some outlines and sketches, and did a couple of other things. And then I decided to create one big painting. This is how I painted it. This is a painting called Blue Dusk. In this painting, I depicted the very moment when a guest or visitor arrives outside someone's home. The painting indicates a time in the evening when everything is calm and slowed down and starting to become dark. That perfect, beautiful moment right after sunset. My name is Dufshan Jargal Tind Ayush. In 1987 to 2001, I studied at and graduated from the Anima College of Fine Arts. My profession is an artist, and I mainly paint. My objective is to create art which is recognized not only in Mongolia, but all over the world, displayed in major exhibitions and in the biggest galleries of the world. Family. In this work, Family, I painted my own family. The main theme of this painting emerged from thinking about things they play with. My husband always plays computer games and games connected with war and battle. I imagined and painted him wearing a military landing force uniform. I myself love to play puzzle games and jigsaw puzzles, so I imagined myself in a puzzle-like dress. My son loves to play Lego. He loves constructing things with Legos as well. As for my daughter, she was very young at the time, and when I drew this picture. She was just a year old when I created this painting. She had this doll that symbolized her future, that she would become a mother someday. Yellow Day. This painting is called Yellow Day. It just demonstrates happiness. I painted it just to make people rejoice and make them feel happy. Tears of Joy. This is a painting called Tears of Joy. There are 3 women displayed in the painting. These 3 women are not 3 different people, but one person. I've been thinking, when does a woman become happy? I realized that a woman always sheds a tear of joy at her own wedding ceremony. The character in the middle depicts someone falling in love, and the other is someone becoming a mother and beginning to feel a mother's love. That's what I thought, saw, and felt when I painted. My name is Munghtstuk Badmung. I live outside the city with my family and my 2 sons. My husband is a painter and an artist. I'm very proud and glad that I was born in Mongolia. I believe it was my destiny. Our country has beautiful nature, its own customs and traditions, and very own unique features. I aim to demonstrate a woman's inner essence, beauty, perfection, and emotions with paints and colors. I raise and promote questions about nature, cultural heritage, and society using modern styles of art. Generally speaking, in my work I'm more oriented towards nature and cultural heritage. My works convey these unique aspects of my country. Amitabha. This painting of mine called Amitabha has a symbolic meaning and depicts the sitting white goddess Tara. The white goddess Tara sits on the flower seat. In the Buddhist making arts, it symbolizes purity and expresses a woman's virginity. She has the pure, clean, beautiful, and peaceful character of a 16-year-old girl. She is holding a rose with her ring finger, which expresses that every woman will wed her loved one and will have children. A golden image at her belly depicts a mother's womb as a sacred organ where a woman bears her children. The white veil wrapped around her body symbolizes innocence of her heart. In my works, I usually depict a male person with a rectangular shape. I usually depict a female person with a circle shape. Still, I've depicted this woman as the sitting Mongolian green goddess, Tara. In my work, I expressed my feelings of great peacefulness and serenity of a woman with a child, and how she listens to the sounds of her child in the midst of quietness. I also use this woman to represent eternity. Beyond her is a circle rim, which is a rim of her own intelligence. This is the sun. The sun always gives its warmth to others and sustains life. Our Earth exists in the middle of endless space. However, there is a gaped rectangular thing at the bottom which I think of as an extinct planet. The planet represents a person cutting themselves off at the roots. In time, they will die out. Similarly, if we don't love our natural environment as a mother loves her child, it will eventually become an extinct planet. This is my intention with the painting. It's called quietness or still. Desire. My painting called Desire depicts a woman's tender heart and beauty painted in the form of a dream. I gave priority to the colors that convey a dreamlike state, one that makes you feel as if you're floating among clouds or drifting in the water. Here's a color of tender skin. A woman who is very beautiful looks like a melodious, soft sound, or so I felt. When a French artist saw it, he expressed the same thing I was thinking. He said that he sees the softness and tenderness of a woman from this painting. Light. This is a painting called The Light. I painted a portrait of a friend of mine who has cancer. I stayed together with that friend of mine for a period of time. I tried to understand my friend's emotions of a person who knows about his own terminal illness and their attitude towards life. And so I told my friend, I'm going to paint your portrait. So when I was reflecting on how to express her portrait, I got this idea. There is a light in shaded places, and there are shadows in places full of light. I approached this painting with a philosophy that any person's life is governed by the law of opposites, an exchange between happiness and sorrow. A feature of this painting is that I mingled fine arts with Mongolian-style painting. The shadowed part is fine art, and it demonstrates a person's real life. And the part with the light is done in a Mongolian style, which is usually used to make images of gods. I created this painting with the following meaning. By pursuing goodness, someone can find their true nature and can see the value of his own life. Perhaps in doing so, the person can overcome his own illness.
Цаанаас хувь тайлна гэж боддог шүү дээ.
5-6 настайгаас л харандаа барьж гисэн.
Тэр өрөөнд ороход тэр бутагны үнэр амар гоё сэтгэл төрүүлдэг.
Энэ урлагаас л хамгийн гарч байгаа юм чи.
Сэтгэлдээ эхлээд ургаад урдаг. Би зүгээр л Монгол төрснөөр амар бахархдаг байхгүй.
Монголынхаа энэ онцлогийг уран бүтээлдээ тусахыг илүү ирэмцэж бүтээлээ туурдаг.
Уран бүтээлч хүн чинь дуусчихгүй ундраг байх хэвээр.
Монголын уран зургийн төвшин бол
Хурцтай хөгжиж байгаа л гэж бодож байгаа л да. Хамгийн том нэг зорилго бол
Монголын төрслөх урлагийг дэлхийн тавцанд гаргаж ирэх л туйлын хүсэл байгаа. За намайг
My name is Netan Dorsch, son of Inkbatur. I'm 31 years old.
зураг зурх маань
My main occupation is painting.
юм да. 100% гэж хэлж болно.
My wife is a painter and an artist as well.
Уран бүтээлч. Хоёр хүүхэд.
I have 2 sons.
Би 5-6 настайгаас л эхлээл харандаа бариад
I first gripped the pencil at the age of 5 or 6 and began joining pencil and paper together.
зураг гэдэгтэй л ноцтож байна да.
Since then, I've busied myself with painting. I believe it was my destiny rather than my own decision. An artist should possess a never-ending spring of inspiration. My personal tendency in the future is to follow contemporary art, to attempt to mix Mongolian traditional style with modern art, and to see what comes out of it. I attempted to create a pure Mongolian style painting, particularly wall paintings of, perhaps, the Uyghur period, and using this stream, I'm thinking about expressing life today with this old painting style. I want to follow that tendency, to follow these two paths. There is a Mongolian saying that says, "The one with the spare horse goes further." My ultimate desire is to raise Mongolian fine arts up to the world stage. Seeking God inside myself. This is a painting called Seeking God Inside Myself. I got the idea for it in 2010. The reasoning behind this painting is humankind worships different things painted with paints, made with clay, or carved with wood. People obey their doctrines and have good lives. That is the meaning of religion. God is not someone in heaven, but God is inside you. I painted the face of Buddha and left it blank. Your own face ought to be there instead of Buddha's, because you are God. The meaning of this painting is, you should worship and love yourself, and only then can you love others. Red Tie. Red Tie is about a political play that happened on the 1st of July in 2008. Since then, I thought about what happened, and in 2010 I got this idea. The person in this painting worked all his life as a diplomat, and so he has a dreadful, steely expression. I painted a smile over his face to conceal his grim appearance. This first of all shows that he is a good actor. A red tie, a white shirt, and a black suit. These three are very strong colors. If you watch international conventions, governmental or presidential sessions, you will see that everyone wears a red tie, a white shirt, and a black suit. These are all symbols and colors of reputation and prestige. On the red tie, I depicted an image of fiery hell. There aren't any watches or rings on the person's wrist and fingers. It means that his hands are clean and suggests that he was never involved in any schemes or plots. According to Mongolian saying, he is clean and dry when he gets out of water. The way he looks at you is saying, I can do whatever I want. He is an arrogant character, an arrogant man. Series of cards. There are 6 works in my paintings series of cards. The reason I painted 6 is that in total there are 54 cards, and these 6 rule all other cards. They overcome all others. Inside these 6, there are 2 jokers that overpower the other 4. The other 4 only defeat cards with their own ideology, color, and shape. Can be understood by cards, but you can relate other things to it, especially politics. These are works that have a political tendency. A red joker is a politician wearing a red tie. He is the strongest joker. Being a politician means making laws and rules. A person who makes laws and rules is able to subject everyone else using them. By the guidelines of cards, it is impossible for the black joker to overcome the red one. Black joker. A black joker represents religion. I painted a shaman. The meaning behind this is that religion bullies and suppresses people in a way that isn't apparent or obvious, but hidden and secret, through people's minds and their mentality. Everyone, even businessmen and politicians, seek after religion and priests, or have faith in something. There are 4 aces. By the rules of playing cards, or poker, there is this following order: spades, hearts, clubs, and diamonds. The ace of spades comes at first position. The person in this picture has 1 body, 2 heads, and 4 arms, and he is connected by 1 tie. Although these spades have one body, they fight over authority and wealth. They resent each other, and they are depicted as pushing each other away. Though they have one body, there are two heads. Two heads mean two different opinions. One leads this direction, and the other one leads to that direction, one to the left and one to the right. That's the meaning of this painting. The Ace of Hearts has one body and two heads as well. They have put a plate in the center. There is a heart on the plate. The heart is a symbolic image which can represent anything. These two heads same-mindedly split and eat a heart which symbolizes the will and the heart, something good, some individual. For instance, natural resources or traditional heritage. These are all things you can eat. Nowadays, not only food is eaten, but people eat whatever else they wish. Ace of Clubs. This is the Ace of Clubs. In Mongolia, it is referred to as a clover. I depicted a priest that has forsaken his job and who smokes, uses drugs, and takes pleasure in his sins. He ought to enlighten the worshippers, but neglects his duty. There are many priests like that in Mongolia. Instead of chanting mantras in the temples, they involve themselves in festivity, get involved with women, commit crimes, and drive jeeps. They smoke weed, drink alcohol, and take part in fights. This painting is intended for those priests who forsake their true job and run after merrymaking. Ace of Diamonds. This is the Ace of Diamonds. The shape has very sharp angles. It's a very fierce and sharp shape. So this clown, this politician is a very fierce, aggressive person who scares others. When it comes to politics, everyone is afraid of it. Everyone is scared of politics and politicians. So I expressed that with this ace's formidable appearance. Mongol. As for this painting called The Mongol, it's the face of a Mongolian child. Of course, the child is hairless when he's just born. Here I expressed the meaning of becoming a Mongol. I tried to demonstrate the face of a Mongolian person. You will notice there is an eye on his forehead. I believe that every Mongolian person is born with 3 eyes. One of the eyes is invisible to us. We see with just 2 eyes. Generally, when a person is thinking, he closes his eyes. So with his 3rd eye, he crosses the space of his mind and reaches that place of thought. Or when thinking about the places where you've been before, and you close your eyes, you see them with your 3rd eye. I designed it as if it's an old painting with brownish colors. Human. The meaning of this calligraphic image is human. In Old Mongolian script, the word is humun. The English translation is human. Humun and human sound quite similar. Since Mongolian script is written from top to bottom, it's called human writing. This is a cursive brush writing that represents a human that stands up straight. Queen. The painting called Queen depicts a 19th century young lady wearing Mongolian wife clothing. In the 19th century, and in the beginning of the 20th century, all Mongolian wives used to wear jewelry and clothes that looked very ugly and were very heavy to wear. At that time, Mongolia was experiencing very hard times, going through revolutions and wars. So I imagined the hard times Mongolian wives of that era experienced, and I painted it in connection with the background. This painting is done in Mongolian traditional style, with a technique that makes it look as smooth as an old painting. Sun. The general concept of this calligraphic image, the sun, is moon, blessing, great, inspired, bright, merciful, sun. The names of the days of the week, such as Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, aren't Mongolian words. The translation into Mongolian is moon, blessing, great, inspired, bright, merciful, sun. These are the names of the days of the week. Zibad. There are two mystical lion head symbols called Zibad. One of them is red and the other is blue. The blue one is a symbol for a moonlit night. Zibad is a handle located on two sides of doors. It symbolizes a protection that doesn't allow evil inside. It is usually placed on two sides of the main gates of places, such as temples or palaces. When a person goes in between these handles, it purifies that person. The symbol is always located on doors or gates. Fire and water. These two paintings are called Fire and Water. Here, natural elements are expressed in my Mongolian-style painting. The way the fire is lit and the way the water flows is my own idea. In reality, fire doesn't light up this way and water doesn't move this way. I designed it using Mongolian-style painting techniques. This is one part of a series of paintings that I publicly displayed. Thought. As for the painting of mine called Thought, one morning I was standing at my house door wearing my bathing gown when a lark flew down and sat on the very top of the post next to me. It sat as though sitting on the point of a needle. I was looking at it while smoking, and then I thought, what a cute image. So instantly I stopped smoking, went inside, and began to sketch. Later, when giving a name to the painting, I wondered, what do birds actually think? A human being thinks about different things such as, today I'll do this and that, and this is that. But what do birds think? I wanted to know the thoughts of birds. So I named this painting Thought.